Now, I know I promised you guys a little bit back that I was going to do a game room tour, so yep, I'm going to make good on my promise. I just had a problem with lighting and a couple other things, so it kept getting pushed back over and over again, and my camera's autofocus kind of went on fritz and was just like unfocusing at fucking random, and I was just like, way to go, camera, I'm so glad you're doing that. But yeah, I decided that I will do it today, and on top of that, I'll just go for a couple of things real quick I figure you guys might like to know. The two biggest parts of my collection are actually my PS1 and PS2 collection. Second to those would be my Nintendo collection, like regular NES. Altogether, I've got around 1,100 games. That's not including like my arcade machine and my handheld games. So I haven't actually counted those into it yet, so it's pretty much just strictly console. Altogether, I've been collecting since middle school, so it's literally about 6th or 7th grade. So, and I'm 26 now, and most of the time I get most of my games from like Amazon, from flea markets, eBay, sometimes even GameStop, even though they're the fucking devil. There's local game stores around my area that I buy from. Like, I live in Pittsburgh, and there's a local game store around here called The Exchange. I go there and I buy a lot of games, because they carry anything at all. I've gotten Sega CD, Sega Saturn, TurboGrafx from them. Like, they've got a ton of shit. I've gone on Craigslist, too. So, to any of you out there that are interested in doing anything like this, or even getting, like, a collection this big, or even bigger, those are pretty much ways that I found to get my games and everything. Because it's not like I have like bajillions of dollars and can just buy anything I want. No, I'm pretty fucking cheap, to be honest. I try to get everything for a decent price because I'm not going to pay a bunch of money for something. Earthbound is like $200. Am I gonna pay $200 for it? No. But I did find it for like $60, so I bought it. Even though that to me is a lot of money, but that's the price of a brand new game right now. So I just said to hell with it, plunked down the cash for it and bought it. It doesn't have the box or anything, but it's just an example that I saved myself a hell of a lot of money getting it and everything. So I also collect strategy guides and everything, mainly RPG strategy guides, and that's usually what I want them for, because there's tons of like little ass things and strategies in there that I'd like to have. And I know some people are like, I hate strategy guides, how dare you, they're awful. But I really like them for RPGs. What can I say? I'd like to know, you have to be in this exact area at this moment in time in the game to be able to see this one cutscene. Shit like that. I'm not going to play through the game like 50 fucking times when it's, a 40-hour game, just so I can find that one cutscene by complete randomness. Screw that. That's retarded. Another big thing I've been trying to collect recently are things that are in like gigantic boxes, because they're a lot harder to find. I've got Point Blank 1 and 2 and Time Crisis and things like that. Just items that are complete are kind of cool as a collector. Back there, like, you can see a lot of them, so I'm gonna show everything to you guys right now. So let's go. So let's get this started. Over here we got Nintendo games, and we got a decent amount of them. Unfortunately, most of my Nintendo games do not have boxes at all. But I got them all in here about as neat as I can get them. Moving down, we got Super Nintendo games. Got Chrono Trigger sitting in the front, since that's one of my very favorite. And we actually have a continuation of Nintendo games right here. This right here is actually just wires, controllers, and a bunch of other random shit I just keep in there because it's a lot neater that way. Here is the beast himself, my Neo Geo arcade machine. I don't actually have it turned on at the moment because this thing is louder than shit. Those two speakers up there, yeah, they pretty much echo throughout my entire apartment. But it's 2-player, very kick-ass. I got Metal Slug on here, Samurai Showdown 3, just a bunch of really good stuff. And what's cool is that it's actually a 4-slot game, so you just kind of hit select game, and you get new stuff constantly. Pretty cool. Yeah, this thing was a bitch to get in here, but well worth it. And then moving on, got PSP games. We have 2 King of Fighter action figures up there, which have ridiculously awful faces. Just look at his. Dirt! Dirt, dirt! So then we move on to Gamecube. Got a decent amount of Gamecube games. Not a gigantic collection, but it's pretty good. Got a couple box games sitting up there. Quest 64, which is fucking awful. I hate that game, but I just put the box there pretty much to fill up space. Then we move on. We got Xbox games. And a third row of them. Then we move on to one of my favorite parts of the collection, my Sega Saturn collection, because it took me years to assemble it. Just because they are not exactly easy to find. And especially bullshit like this. Panzer Dragoon Saga. Anybody who's a hardcore collector knows exactly what I mean. Game is not easy to find by any means. Then here we got my PS3 games. I don't have a whole hell of a lot, obviously, because PS3 games and 360 games are still kind of expensive, and I am cheap. Then we go on to DS. Got a pretty good amount of DS games altogether. Got 2 little skeleton figures there. And move on to my 360 games. Got some more sitting up there. My Wii games right there. And then this is all Dreamcast. Yeah, just all around, like, really love that system in general. Oh, and got one little extra right there, Sega GT, because I couldn't fit it in with the rest. My PS2 collection, which is usually what you guys see inside my videos, is pretty big. What's interesting is this is a really large bookshelf. I had to take out one of the shelves though so I could fit in all those PS2 games at the bottom because they're literally stacked on top of one another. And I was actually asked by one of my friends, how do you get a game out? And I just tell them very, very carefully.